Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to do a get ready with me, just using some products that make me happy every time I see them, and some that I haven't pulled out in a while. Some are kind of recent faves, but we'll get into that. Hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you for subscribing. And again, thank you so much for being willing to watch the ads that accompany my videos. I recently got monetized, and every little bit means it's something I can reinvest into my channel. So thank you so much for watching, and let's get started. I have been kind of going back and forth between a couple of primers that I got in BoxyCharm, and I think I'm going to use this one today. This is the Hydrating primer from Benefit. This is their Porefessional Hydrating, and I think the reason that I like it is because it is hydrating, but it also, without looking too heavy or too silicone-y, can really kind of minimize the look of my pores. Now, this isn't the one that like completely erases them. It just makes my skin look a little bit more refined without being too much like a coating of spackle. And it is hydrating, and we're still at the point in the year where I could use a little bit of hydration. You know, in a couple of more weeks, we're going to be into the I need some mattifying primer, but we're not quite there yet. This has been a favorite of mine. It took me a while to figure out how to use this. This is Magic Vanish from Charlotte Tilbury. It's her color corrector. I have the shade 1 Fair, and I just tap a little bit of this right here to cancel out some of the darkness. And like the difference between this and this, it's subtle, but just enough that I don't need to use as much concealer. And that's always my end goal. The least amount of makeup, the better. Oh yeah, and it makes me look just awake enough. There have been days that I'll wear just this. Like this and lip gloss and be like, and I'm good. I'll be honest, I haven't seen what it looks like in sunshine. There's a good chance that in sunshine, it really shows off the color, this more peachy colored corrector. But I do like that it kind of gives my face just a little bit of a lift. And every now and again, I'll tap some over the very light hyperpigmentation. So I'm going to throw on some concealer. This has been a favorite concealer of mine since last fall. This is the Bare Minerals Serum Concealer. I think it's called their Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. I have the lightest shade in this. This is Fair. And I just throw it over some hyperpigmentation spots, redness in the corners of my nose. I have a little redness here on my chin. And this is basically all of the coverage that I'll use today. I won't actually put on any foundation. I'll just use the Charlotte Tilbury color corrector and this, and we'll just blend this all over the face. I'm not looking to completely cover every flaw on my face, just to even out the under eye darkness and a little bit of the redness in places on my face. So it's not really even like foundation level coverage, not even if I were to use the concealer like foundation on my face, just very lightly in the places where I need it. Ever since I discovered this, I have loved it. This is the Advanced Radiance Powder from Covergirl. And this is one I picked up after watching Tati rave about it for years. And I was like, okay, fine. And every time I looked for it at the drugstore, they did not have my shade. And oddly enough, I actually used a little puff that comes with it. I never thought I would be the use the tools that come in the drugstore makeup sort of person. But you know, it's very convenient and it goes quickly. So maybe I'm discovering what you've been loving forever, and I'm finally like, oh yeah, it is good. I'm not looking for a lot of powder, just to take down kind of the tackiness of my sunscreen, of my concealer, the hydrating primer, just so things don't stick in specific areas. I've been in love with this since I picked it up. This is from Bare Minerals. It's their Invisible Bronze. This is the shade Fair to Light. And it's a baked bronzer, so it's kind of domed, and I've had this and used this a ton. You can see that there's some minimal use on it. You know, there are some holes in the top and it's not as domed as it used to be, but truthfully, I feel like I could apply this forever and ever. I like that it's fair enough that it doesn't ever look like I'm wearing like dirt smudges on my face, but it gives me just a little bit of color and adds a little bit of dimension to my face. One of my all-time favorite blushes is from Colourpop. This is the Kathleen Lights collab called My Sun and Stars. and it looks really vibrant in the pan, almost like a fluorescent orange, and I mean, it's a lot, you pick up a lot. So I always tap it off, use the most minimal amount, and then just lightly tap it onto the cheeks. I like it because that slightly intense orange shade really brings some vibrancy to my cheek without being too much, but I can't put it on like this. I do have to tap it off. I'm gonna use another Colourpop product, and this is the Super Shock Highlight in Stole the Show. I don't even know if they still make this shade, but as you can see, I've hit pan, and in the pan size, you know, gets bigger and smaller depending on whether I'm using my finger or not. But what I've liked to do recently is to use a duo fiber brush and just kind of tap it in here. You know, pick up some product, bounce it off on the back of my hand so it's not too much, and then just lightly tap this on here and then blend. And I feel like the duo fiber doesn't really disturb the foundation or, at this point, concealer and powder I have on below, but it still does give a really pretty glow. And since this is basically a white highlighter with a little bit of a gold shift to it, it's like the perfect type of highlight for my skin. And I like that it also has kind of a wet, almost glass-like effect to the highlight, which I like quite a lot. I feel like I'm in desperate need of some brows. One of my favorite products is this e.l.f. brow pencil, and this is their $2 brow pencil, and I was always skeptical about it, and Emily Noel wouldn't stop talking about it, and I finally was like, okay, fine, it's $2, I'll try it out. And on days when I want to get my brows done fast, because it is a chubbier pencil, it's not as fine as the Anastasia Brow Wiz or the NYX Micro Pencil, or even some of the smaller sized ones from Benefit or Colourpop. It gets it done, and it's really kind of foolproof. I can't believe it's a $2 brow product, honestly. And I'm going to throw on a little bit of this. It's the L'Oreal Boost and Set Brow Volumizing Mascara, Brow Mascara. And it's going to help hold everything in place and give them just a bit more of a tint. For eyeshadow, I'm dipping back into this. This is the Tickled Peach from Too Faced. It's a super cute 8-shadow palette that's really simple, really easy, and exactly what I'm looking for these days. So I'm just using the lightest matte shade in here, and I'm running this right underneath the brow bone. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. This one's called Peach Spice. It's kind of the mid-toned warm brown. And I'm just going to tap this right here into my crease. I'm so grateful. This is the last full week of school for my kids. This is the week we had Memorial Day off, so I guess it wasn't even a full week. But there is school next week, which is the first week of June, but it's basically returning books, making a one-on-one appointment to clean out your locker and your desk, making sure all your things are taken from school, that you've dropped off everything, and that all your schoolwork is turned in. So they're not giving any more assignments past this Friday. So I am rather grateful for that. And so I feel like summer starts at the beginning of June, even though there still is a week left of school. I feel like things are starting to slowly return to normal. We're still not leaving the house a lot. I'm not going to say that we are, but I finally was able to make appointments with hairdressers for my daughters. My oldest daughter had a really fun haircut that she had for most of this year, where kind of long and floppy on one side, and then she had an undercut kind of starting low behind this ear and going high all the way up to here. So like half of her head was shaved, but it's been growing out rather awkwardly. And she's like, I think I'm done having this really short haircut, but I need to get it shaped. So she's in a very awkward growing out hair shape phase right now. But second week of June, we'll be in at her hairdresser's, getting her hair trimmed and fixed. And my youngest is like, I love my long hair. I think my bangs are just too long. And I offered to trim them for her. She's like, I think we should let a professional do that, Mommy. So she's just been clipping them back or wearing a headband, keeping them out of her face. And I'm glad she is not of the opinion that I should be cutting her hair, which means she also thinks she or her sister or maybe even her friends should never cut her hair. There were a couple of times in childhood where my youngest cut her own hair. And then one time when her sister oh, I think she was 3 and my oldest was 5. I woke up and I found strands of hair this long on the floor and I was like, what? What is this? And then I realized that somebody had been cutting hair and that it was my youngest hair, and her hair, like right here, she had a whole patch where it was like this long. You know, a couple of bangs, like from here down this way. Her hair was like super short, like 1 inch. And so we had to part her hair on the other side and have it going this way because it had been parted going this way. So we had to part and go the other way. Oh my goodness. It was the funniest but also saddest thing. She got a really short haircut and then we flipped it to the other side to part it, and it looked fine and it grew out okay, but those moments of extreme panic, and I very much drilled into their heads, you don't cut your hair. Nobody cuts your hair but the professionals. So I think she's just remembering me going, don't ever let anyone cut your hair. And she's like, not even you, Mommy. I'm going to grab this shade right here called Warm and Fuzzy. And I'm just going to place this on the, you know, the lid. I do feel like I want a little something in the inner corner. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the Soul to Show highlight. And I'm just going to brush that kind of right here on the inner corner, just to bring a little light to the area. One thing that I tried recently in a BoxyCharm video, there was a Blinc Cosmetics eyeshadow primer, their black eyeshadow primer that came, and it really built some intense volume, but I didn't like the wand that came in the packaging. So I thought I'd try something different today. So this is the wand that I don't like that came with the eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna put that to the side for a minute. And I have this wand here. This is from a Laura Mercier, what is this? The Caviar Volume Panoramic Mascara. I have a little trial size of it. I thought if I was able to get this loaded up with the primer, because it has a twisted brush, and I found that every time I used this mascara, I wasn't sure if it was the mascara or the brush, that I didn't have any clumps, and it was because this little spirally brush really helped brush them through. And I thought that maybe I could try this primer again. Got a little clumpy last time I used it, and I wasn't sure whether it was because it was too wet, whether it was the formula itself, and this is a lot better. I might even just use this just like mascara today and call it good. For lips today, I have fallen in love with the Wayne Goss Essential Lip Liner in the shade Mauve. I really like this formula, and I really like the shade. It's just a deeper nude than I would normally wear, but it's not too dark. And I'm using the M Cosmetics True Gloss in Moroccan Sunset. Here's the finished look. It's kind of a warm peachy look, you know, peachy cheeks, peachy eyes, kind of a warm orangey terracotta lip, and it all kind of blends together very nicely. It's not quite monochromatic, but it kind of has that vibe and feel to it. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're surviving as the weather gets a little bit warmer. And let me know what you've been up to recently. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being subscribed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.